So this is a video idea that I've actually had ever since the very beginning of my channel, perhaps even before the beginning of my channel. It's weird stuff, what I noticed. Just a bunch of weird stuff, like stuff that makes you go, huh? So in It's a Wonderful Life, right? There's the part where the angel Clarence shows up and he reveals that he's an angel by saying he is AS2. And then somebody asks, what does AS2 mean? And he says, angel second class.
Clarence out, buddy. AS2.
AS2, what's that AS2?
Angel second class.
Probably like one of my least favorite parts of this movie. This part and the part where it's revealed that the wife has become an old maid. No, but I don't like this part because the guy who falls out of his chair, it's like really corny. It's not a very good joke. I don't know, have you ever wondered, like, what does AS2 stand for? Because it clearly doesn't stand for angel second class. I mean, we can surmise that A stands for angel. We can surmise that 2 is second. But what's the S? Is it like seraph? He's not a seraph. He's a guy who died in like the 1800s, I think. No, wait, he's supposed to be like 200, isn't he? So he died in the 1700s, probably. Or maybe, perhaps he's kind of old, so maybe like early 1800s, I don't care. But yeah, like what, that was always such a weird moment, because he's like, AS2, what does that mean? Angel second class, but it doesn't follow, like, it doesn't, the AS2 doesn't stand for angel second class, so what does the S stand for? Like, I've always wondered that. What does the S stand for? And then, okay, we've got Tin Man by America. Oz never did give nothing to the Tin Man that he didn't already have. That's a great line. That's like, it's making some sort of a point. It makes you think. It has a reference to an old movie. It does it in a pithy, kind of clever way. But then he follows it up with, and cause never was the reason for the evening or the Tropic of Sir Galahad. What the fuck? That doesn't mean anything. What? It's so weird. This like really good line is followed up by a line that means nothing, is total nonsense. Like what, you couldn't come up with anything that made sense to fill in that gap? Like seriously? How about this one from the Robert Zemeckis? There's a recent Pinocchio movie by Robert Zemeckis. Now there's a lot of weird stuff in this movie. It's a bad movie. It's like one of the worst movies I've ever seen. But there's a part in it where Lampwick has this gigantic mug of root beer. Yeah, they call it root beer instead of beer in this movie. Horrible. But he has a gigantic mug of root beer, and then he downs it in 1 second. Weird. Then how about this one? You remember that part in Scrooged when he's like in the sewer or something? Like, where is he? A storm drain? And he sees that homeless guy there named Herman, who was the guy he met earlier at the homeless shelter. And he's just sitting there frozen solid with the smile on his face.
Herman, it's Dick. Liz says hi.
So what, he just like got hypothermia, and instead of doing like a paradoxical undressing and dying on the ground, he just sat there with the smile on his face and slowly died of hypothermia and then froze? That's weird. Oh, and here's a good one. You remember Mo Green from The Godfather? What was up with that moment where he like suddenly turns into James Earl Jones for a second?
You think you can come to my hotel and take over? I talked to Barzini. I can make a deal with him.
What was that about? that just, every time I watch that movie, I'm like, huh?
You think you can come to my hotel and take over? I talked to Barzini.
And then finally, this one's probably my favorite. It's from another one of those movies, The Irishman. It's actually probably my favorite scene in The Irishman. It's really funny where Jimmy Hoffa is at the meeting with that other guy who's played by the British guy, but he's doing a New York accent. And it's a really funny scene because he's like, is this how you dress for a meeting? And he's like, is that how you dress in Florida? In a suit? Yeah. New York, Florida, Timbuktu, I dress in a suit. for a meeting. And they go back and forth, and he's insulting Jimmy and blah, 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 and Jimmy's insulting him. They're mad at each other. But there's this thing, this fascinating thing in this scene, and I feel like I'm the only person who's noticed it, where they repeat a clip 17 seconds after it already happened. It's a part where they're like, Jimmy, what are you doing? That happens, and then like 17 seconds later, the same clip is played over again in the movie. I swear, I'm gonna play for you the whole thing unedited, and you'll see what I mean.
Definitely.
Jimmy, come on.
Don't forget, you people got you where you are.
Oh, don't tell me that.
That's your problem, Jimmy.
Your problem is you're a piece of shit.
Jimmy, come on.
Jesus,
Jimmy, what are you
come
doing?
on.
Come on.
What's up with that? Was that intentional? Did nobody catch that? It was weird, but I kind of like it. It's funny. Anyway, those are weird stuff what I noticed. This is VEDN Day 25. See you tomorrow for VEDN Day 26.